Has anyone ever seen that meme where some dude is sitting like at the park or in a college quad and he's got like a blue pullover and he's got a coffee cup and he's just sitting at the table with a banner in front of it and it says, "Change my mind"? So mine would simply read, Jimmy Garoppolo is the best option to back up Trey Lance. Change my mind. Like, I encourage you, change my mind. Tell me why I'm wrong. 888-957-9570. It's like a radio station meme generator. You can go ahead right now, give me a call, and change my mind. Why am I wrong that Jimmy Garoppolo is anything less than the best option to back up Trey Lance? Why am I wrong? What is your reasoning to explain why I've got this wrong? Because I'm looking at Jimmy's stats, right? Here's a guy who threw for 3,800 yards and 20 touchdowns against 12 interceptions, and all he did with a 12.7 yards per completion was lead the league. He led the league at 12.7 yards per completion. He led the league in net yards gained per pass attempt. We all know what he's not good at, but we all know that he's been more than acceptable as a starting quarterback for the 49ers, but not acceptable enough for Kyle Shanahan to come off the idea that I need to do better. And we've already got the inkling that Trey Lance is going to allow Kyle Shanahan's playbook to attack more blades of grass than ever before. Explain to me why I'm wrong. Convince me change my mind. I'm like the guy with the coffee cup sitting in front of the meme generator that says you can put anything up there. Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. Change my mind. Cheeseburgers are better than meatballs. Change my mind.
I think this is a great idea, as long as they are talking to you.
Change Ray's mind.
My mind, I'm not going to sit there and call myself a genius, but I've never understood the hurry to get rid of him to begin with. I mean, he's been a better than serviceable quarterback for a team that is built differently than most other teams. Now, is Kyle Shanahan, would he like to have a more diversified offense? Apparently.
Clearly.
But it doesn't bother me any. I just think the idea that Jimmy Garoppolo as a concept is an affront to the dignity of 49er fandom is hilarious. I mean, he misses one pass, so no Super Bowl there, and Jaquiski Tartt drops an interception, so no Super Bowl there. I'd say other than that, he's been okay. I mean, you could get away with starting him this year. You absolutely could. I mean, people don't like it because they've decided that he's the new Alex Smith. He's the new John Brody. Give us something else. It literally is. This one's been passed down from grandfather to father to son, grandmother, mother to daughter.
It's in our DNA.
You hate the guy who has the job. You just do. And that's ridiculous.
There were plenty of reasons to be frustrated by Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, cast as a starting quarterback, he's a big, okay. As a backup quarterback, sounds like one of the greatest, State Farm level insurance policies I've ever seen the San Francisco 49ers carry, that's for sure. Unless Brock Purdy really is about to be Steve Young to Trey Lance's Joe Montana, you shouldn't wait for perfect to pass up pretty good. Matt in San Jose, explain to me why I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, if you're looking for someone to change your mind, you got the wrong caller. I'm wholeheartedly agreeing with you. I mean, look, the Niners, they're bringing back a vast majority of the same team that they had in 2021 that went to the NFC Championship game with Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. Trey Lance would have to struggle like Nate Sudfeld or Brock Purdy in order for them to look at the 5 games and say, yeah, we got to put Jimmy Garoppolo in the game. This is not about how well Trey Lance plays. It's about, God forbid, anything happened to him health-wise. So the question that you leave yourself with is, what would the Niners season have looked like in 2021 if it was Nate Sudfeld or if it was Brock freaking Purdy? Jimmy Garoppolo is the best option you have to back up Trey Lance because it gives you an opportunity to go right back where you just were, a Jaquaski Tart interception drop away from the Super Bowl.
Thank you very, very much, Matt. Appreciate your call.
By the way, I think his name is now going to be Brock freaking Purdy.
Brock freaking Purdy,
BF
baby.
Purdy.
Yeah. Forget about BF Goodrich.
Yeah.
BF Purdy. Look, that offense had trouble sustaining early drives in Minnesota. That was 0 for 5 on third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down, and it converted only 2 third downs with about 6 minutes to play into the second quarter. The 49ers offensive line only gave up 3 sacks. Brock Purdy and Nate Sudfeld, the two of them just at this point in their careers both scream it could be an adventure if you have to turn to one of them and say, get us through a long stretch of games. 1 game? Sure. 2 games? Okay, you're pushing it. 3 games? Probably should have kept Jimmy. That's how quickly this all turns.
And that's why I don't think you play Garoppolo on Thursday. I think you play Purdy and Sudfeld. Show us something. Change my mind. To steal a phrase.
Steal a meme.
Yeah, you don't need to. You know what Jimmy Garoppolo does. You know what he can do. Your decision at this point is not to showcase him. It's to find out if you need him. And you already know what he can do. So use this pointless exercise Thursday night to look at the other 2 guys again. See what they can do in a different situation. Because you're going to keep one of them, even if you do keep Garoppolo. There's another decision to be made. So look at the stuff you don't know. And I suspect that that's probably what Kyle Shanahan will do. There's no compelling reason to see Jimmy Garoppolo in a pointless Thursday night exhibition game.
Well, just get him up to speed. And if nothing else, you maybe showcase that arm a little bit. Maybe now an offer does come in that you're tempted by. Again, 1 more week of football means every other quarterback, and we're supposed to see more starting quarterbacks appear in week 3 of this preseason than we did in week 2, means situations change. The situation around the 49ers hasn't changed yet. This is Aaron and Martinez. Aaron, thank you very much for the call. Change my mind. Am I right or wrong about Garoppolo?
So you are dead wrong. And I've got a couple good reasons you're dead wrong. And I'm surprised you guys are this wrong because usually you're right. And I'm not a 49ers fan, so I'm looking at this objectively. Jimmy Garoppolo is an outstanding backup quarterback. Would be one of the best backup, if not the best backup quarterbacks in the league. But not on the San Francisco 49ers, and here's why. One is the psychology. You have clearly brought in Jimmy Garoppolo or clearly brought in Trey Lance at the cost of 3 first-round draft picks to be the leader of this team. It's obvious that Kyle Shanahan was never satisfied with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he wanted Trey Lance, truthfully, he wanted Trey Lance to start last year. It seems that John Lynch and New York talked him out of that and had Jimmy Garoppolo start the year. And let's just hypothetically say, somewhere in the first 6-7 games, Trey Lance goes on a 2 or 3 game slide where they drop 2 or 3 games and Trey Lance doesn't play up to snuff. It's not the fans or the media, all due respect to you both, that are going to be the problem. It's the locker room. Everything we heard last year was that locker room loved Jimmy Garoppolo. And those guys, if they get on a 2 or 3 game slide, God forbid 4 games or drop a couple in October or November when it counts, those guys are going to be looking around saying, gee, with the guy that's still sitting over there, QB2, we went to the NFC Championship 2 times out of 3, and we're basically a throw away from winning the Super Bowl.
Well, how bad are these performances? Hold on, and I'm going to let you keep going here, Aaron, but how bad are these Trey Lance performances? Are they so cataclysmically bad that now Jimmy Garoppolo is clearly the right decision? Because I don't think that that'll divide a locker room. I think that would be apparent. And I think it would create a sense of relief in the locker room if Trey Lance all of a sudden isn't ready for the job that Kyle Shanahan says he's now ready for, and the NFL tells the truth on that more than Kyle's desires to make it so. I think you got a locker room that says, well, finally, we can give the other kid, a look at just the league again. He can sit down, try to figure it out while Jimmy gets us through what could have been a rough patch of games that was so bad we're not in the playoffs. Again, you said yourself, Aaron.
That is psychological.
Go ahead.
It's not what's going to happen, though, from a psychological perspective, because you know that this is Kyle Shanahan's guy. Trey Lance is his guy. And Kyle's going to be sitting there going, yeah, it's a bad 2-game stretch, it's a bad 3-game stretch, but we're going to ride this out because that's the only way a rookie can come through the other side. And you're going to have your GM, John Lynch, and Jed York sitting over there going, damn it, Kyle, we told you so. And you're going to develop a standoff that's going to tear what's been a very, very good triumvirate management and coach in half.
See, but there is no triumvirate, Aaron. There is no triumvirate. There is only one king of the 49ers roster and construction, and his name is Kyle. Jed and John Lynch are just in the sidecar figuring it all out. Kyle knows what he wants. And if Kyle wants Trey Lance to be his guy and to play through all the rough patches and rough spots, look at it this way. He's playing through all the rough patches and rough spots anyways right now as it all stands. So why would Jimmy being on the team make it any different? I really don't understand. Hold on. Welcome to your 4 o'clock hour.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, if that's what you call living. More to the point, Jed York and John Lynch have never told Kyle Shanahan anything about how this football team runs. Kyle Shanahan runs that place. And the day that Jed York decides he's going to tell Kyle Shanahan how to run the football operation, he's going to do it by firing him. And before that happens, Kyle Shanahan's in charge. Kyle Shanahan hired John Lynch, not the other way around. So the notion that he did something that his superiors told him not to do is plainly preposterous. Kyle Shanahan is the guy who's made this gamble to draft Trey Lance and put him in, with a very minimal resume onto a team that is at least a deep run contender. So this is Kyle Shanahan's baby. It's not Jed York's baby. Certainly not John Lynch's baby. He's the guy who set this all up because there's nobody in the building to tell him no. Because if somebody does tell him no, the only one who can is Jed. And if Jed tells him no, he'll walk.
Joan and Payroll.
Joan and Payroll can't tell him no. He owns Joan and Payroll.
She cuts his check.
Yeah, but
hey, she can move 1 comma, leave off 1 0. Things change quickly for Kyle.
Kyle's their agent will notice.
Probably.
No, it's Kyle Shanahan is making all these calls.
Right.
All of them. And so there's no pressure from anybody else. And if they get through the season and they come to this alleged Rubicon where the locker room is going to be torn asunder if they change the quarterback, Kyle Shanahan will do what football coaches have done since time immemorial. This is the guy. Play your ass off. That's what we pay you to do. You want to go to the Super Bowl? Play like it. It's not going to be, he's not going to sit there and take the temperature of the room and say, gee, I wonder how they feel about this.
Right.
He's going to pull the trigger when he pulls the trigger.
Doug in Berkeley. Change my mind. Am I right or wrong about Garoppolo?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. I missed the last few minutes because I had to step into the store. So I don't know if this was said. Basically, I agree with you, but if you want a reason to change your mind, it's, and I think you may have touched on this, it's dollars. It's Jimmy's contract.
Money's already spent, though, Doug. The money's already spent, and Jimmy's in the last year of his contract. So for people saying, well, if you get rid of Jimmy now, his contract will be off the books next year. It's going to be off the books next year unless you extend him, which probably isn't going to happen. So Jimmy's contract at the end of this year is over, creating the same financial hole that he's filling right now.
Okay then, because I've been a guy consistently saying what you're saying. that, Jimmy has done what few quarterbacks in the league have done. He's taken us to a Super Bowl, and he's gotten us damn close to a Super Bowl, and there aren't many other quarterbacks in the league that you can say that about. So Jimmy's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's better than people are making him out to be. So I'm with you. Thanks for taking the call.
Appreciate it, Doug. Thank you. This is Austin in Redwood City. Austin, change my mind.
Man, hey, I'm with this Jimmy thing, man. Hey, Jimmy stepped behind Brady and learned from Brady. And what did it do to him? It got him a trip to the Super Bowl. And that, with that being said, I feel like this is the Colin Kaepernick thing, to where Kaepernick comes in, Alex Smith gets injured, Alex Smith leads us to halfway to the thing, and they give it to Alex Smith. I feel like Kaepernick can back up Trey Lance because they're similar players. Trey Lance can't learn off of Jimmy G. Jimmy G is a damn good player. I feel like they owe this to Jimmy G with his last year with the receiving core that we have this year. And that Danny Gray, he can possibly be better than Brandon Ayuk if they give him a chance. That's all I got.
Well, look, Austin, that ship has sailed. We are riding the USS Trey Lance. There is no doubt about that. There'd be no doubt in Jimmy's mind. There'd be no doubt in that locker room's mind. But should the SS Trey Lance hit an iceberg, Jimmy Garoppolo is the best lifeboat that this entire team could hop into. And I think that they all know that right now that Trey Lance is the guy. I mean, they've been working with him, getting nothing but first-team reps this entire training camp. There is no mixed message that has been sent, and I don't think keeping Jimmy would then create that mixed message.
It's more than that. Football is not like basketball where you have to poll the delegation.
No.
It's still a dictatorship. And if your dictator's not very good, well, your team's not going to be very good. Kyle Shanahan has put skins on the wall. And more important, there's nobody there to tell him no. So he will walk in and go, we're making a change at quarterback, if that so happens. And when that change happens, they will change their allegiances to Garoppolo the way they changed their allegiances to Lance this offseason. I mean, nobody pitched a fit and said, no, you can't make this change. I refuse to allow it. Shanahan did it himself. He just said, that's what we're doing. You know, if you need to voice your opinion, come into the office next door to mine. It's empty. It's a storeroom. That's where you'll be heard. It's not, it's just not, it's not that kind of operation. I mean, it's not like Kyle Shanahan has to go and ask the general manager or ask the head of football ops. He's all of those guys.
Yeah. Permission is not sought by Kyle Shanahan to do anything.
No, he made the call.
This is Ryan, South City. Hello, Ryan. You're on 95.7 The Game.
How's it going, guys? I'm more playing devil's advocate just because I was trying to think of something to come up with to challenge what you're saying, because I kind of agree with it. But what if that money goes towards signing Bosa to a long-term deal 1 year sooner and not having to top the next DN that's going to get his big contract? What if that money could go to other things, specifically being Bosa?
Well, it's going to go to Bosa. I mean, Bosa's going to get every penny coming to him independent of Jimmy's roster spot. Full stop. And he doesn't need it now. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but Bosa's not holding out. He's not saying you got to get my deal done ahead of 2 years of it getting done. That's not happening. There is no demand of Bosa to hammer out a deal now, which if there were that demand on the table, okay, well then maybe we got something to talk about. But that demand doesn't exist.
It's also not irreplaceable money. You can replace it every year. That's the thing. I mean, just the one thing, and I hate this about football, but it's true. When contracts are not guaranteed, you can go off your plan a year later. And this money wouldn't be coming out of Bosa's pocket anyway. He's the first guy who's going to get paid.
Right. There's no point in time, whether his contract comes up today or tomorrow or the next day, where he's not going to become the highest paid defensive player in the history of football.
At least for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
So, no, it's not. Yeah, this is not about next year in any way, shape, or form. Football, while it likes to talk about the future and everything else, football is a series of year-to-year adventures. Next year is a whole different deal. So it's not even about, oh my God, this money, they'll never get it back. The 49ers, they've already got it back. They're making money just by waking up in the morning.
Don't we have to do right by Jimmy and let him go to the situation? It's run its course. What? No. I mean, first of all,
it's not a question of doing right by Jimmy.
Right. First of all, yes, in a perfect world, you'd like everybody to be happy at the end of every workday, but that's not how work exists anywhere. Jimmy Garoppolo is under contract for this season. Paying him in full is doing right by Jimmy Garoppolo. To release him into a league where you don't know where he's going to land is not doing right by your team.
It's also not doing right by him.
It gives him the option to say no, he's not traded. It gives him choices, you would think. But right now, his choice is, I don't have a job or I'm on the Niners.
I mean, well, that's the thing. The choice is, here, do the noble thing. Yeah, take care of Jimmy by firing him. That's insane. I mean, if he asks to leave, then you could say, okay, here's the $7 million we owe you. Thanks for coming. We get it. But if he's got no other option, or if he just wants to stay anyway for whatever reason, then what you owe him is the $24 million. And you've got that. And I don't care whether they keep him or not. It's of no consequence to me. But I just don't get why this is such a hard concept to get people's heads around.
The 49ers owe it to themselves to break camp with their 53 best players, with the deepest quarterback room that they possibly can. Is your quarterback room deeper with Jimmy behind Lance or Sudfeld behind Lance or Brock Purdy behind Lance? You don't even need to answer that question. We all know the answer to that question. Is it time to keep Jimmy Garoppolo? Convince me I'm wrong.